Hi guys, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. In case you're wondering what am I doing in an apron, ooh, scary. Welcome to the very first episode of Mel's Kitchen. I am finally bringing you my cooking episodes. I will try and bring you as much dishes as I can, so stay tuned. It's only right, seeing that I'm Jamaican, to bring you a traditional Jamaican dish. In this episode I will be showing you how to make our traditional rice and peas with oven jerk chicken and a little blanched vegetables on the side to go with that. So without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy, and if you ever happens to try my recipe, please feel free to comment below and tell me how it went, and I hope you will enjoy this video. So first we're going to start off with our rice and peas. Okay, so first what we're gonna need is our peas, which I went ahead of time and put it in some water to soak from the night before. So this is what it looks like. So here I have the red beans. I put them in some water from the night before, that way they can get some water all soaked up inside. So we're just going to go ahead, put this into my cooker, and I'm going to cook this for approximately 30 minutes, and then I'll check on them to see if they're soft to the touch. Then you know that they are ready to go. Now that our peas is finished to cook, this is what it should look like. Very soft to the touch, easy. So that's 30 minutes. The water from the peas is here in my cooker. I just separated to show you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add some of the water that I cook the peas in onto the peas, back onto the peas, so that I don't add too much of what I don't want. All right, put that in, and then the rest of the ingredients that you're going to need for your rice and peas is, so you're going to be needing some rice, of course. You're going to be needing some milky, rich coconut milk. I'm going to be using some fresh thyme. And of course, if you're a Caribbean person, or if you love spicy, or if you're Jamaican, you cannot make your rice and peas without this bad boy right here. This is hot pepper, and in there I have some butter. Even though I'll be using my coconut milk, I still always like to add a little butter in there. And I'm also going to add some salt, which is about half of a teaspoon, and I'm also going to add some sugar in there just to bring up that all these flavor nicely. And I'm also going to add some chopped onions, some chopped scallions, and 1 piece of garlic in there. I'm going to throw all this into my rice, and this is our vegetables that we're going to blanch later to go with our dish. All right, so here we have our peas in the water ready. So I'm just going to pop my coconut milk right on in there. All right, I'm going to drop my thyme in. We're going to just throw everything in there. All right, I'm going to drop my pepper and my butter on in there. All right, drop that in nicely. I'm going to drop my sugar and my salt, and then I'm going to put all the other seasonings in there. All right, we're going to put this back on the stove and bring to a boil. After we bring to a boil, we are going to add our rice. All right, so let's get this done. Don't cover your pot fully, just cover it, put the cover halfway, because when it starts to boil, you don't want your coconut milk to spill all over your stove, and then you're going to be losing all that nice creamy coconut milk from inside. So just cover your pot halfway and just leave it there until it reach to a boil. Our pot is boiling with our peas, so now we need to just go ahead and pop our rice in. And then what you're going to do after you pop your rice in, you're going to turn down that flame as low as you possibly can, because you need it to slow steam, and you're going to let that slow steam for about 20 minutes, and then you should be able to have your rice and peas ready. Mix it to make the peas and the rice blend together nicely. That's what it looks like. It should blend together nicely. Just give it a little stir, and we cover it and leave it right on there. Look at that. You're just gonna take that pepper out just as it is, and you're ready to go. Here I am the day before with my chicken that has been already washed and ready to be seasoned. These are the ingredients that I'm going to use just to marinate the chicken. You can use whichever part of the chicken you want. Some salt. I have some browning, and here I have the traditional Jamaican jerk seasoning. You can get this jerk seasoning online. You can buy it on Amazon. You can buy it, for the Americans, you can get it in any Caribbean store, I'm sure. So this is the traditional jerk seasoning that I'm using. I'm about to put this chicken in here to get it marinated, and I'm marinating them from the night before. But what I like to do with my chicken is that to make the flavor goes through the chicken even more, I'm just going to take my knife and I'm going to punch a few holes within my chicken. Okay, so I'm gonna do like this. Well, try not to get the bone. So I'm just gonna punch a few holes within the chicken slightly. Just punch a few holes. You won't even see these holes when the chicken is finished to bake. Just going to punch a few holes. All right, that's done. So we're gonna get all our ingredients into this container. So here we go. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. We're going to now throw our salt all over there. All right, get your salt in. And we're gonna get our browning on. Pour that over there. Don't use too much browning because you don't want it to be too dark. And then of course the main ingredient, I'm using about this amount. Hopefully you can see that properly. Let me get that properly for you. So I'm using about that amount because it is very strong, so you don't want it to be overpowered with the seasoning. Well, the more the better, but you want to use it in moderation. So we're gonna mix this all over chicken right now. So we're gonna do this mix that in nicely. Have some spill. Mix that in nicely. All right. And the only reason, the reason for using this seasoning is that this seasoning contains different number of spices mixed together. Garlic, peppers, scallions, onions, pimento, everything you can think of is inside this seasoning. You can even taste it if you wish. It also have a little salt. So you need to also be careful of the salt that you're using. So when you're using this seasoning, you really don't want to add anything else when you're seasoning it, except for the salt and the browning if you're going for something dark. Well, it's jerk, so I would assume that you want it to be a little bit dark. So this is what it should look like, not darker than this. All right, so we're going to get this covered and put it to rest until tomorrow. We're going to go ahead and put our chicken in our baking pan that we has already marinated from the day before. This is the side of the baking pan that I will be using. So my oven has already preheated, and we're just going to go ahead and get that right in there. A little liquid in the bottom of the pan. I'm going to go ahead and just pour that right over there. I'm going to cover this with some foil paper. Cover it nicely to trap all that heat inside. Okay? Cover it nicely. Voila. The maximum bake time is an hour, but I'm going to bake it for 45 minutes first. Then I am going to remove it, remove the foil paper. Then I'm going to add my sauce, put it back in the oven for a remaining 15 minutes without the foil paper this time. That way you can get that beautiful dark jerk look going on. So our chicken has been in the oven for 45 minutes. We're going to remove it and do a check. There's some liquid in the pan. You want to throw that liquid off into a bowl that you're going to make your sauce in, okay? So you're going to throw your liquid off into something that you can make your sauce in. Get ready for your chicken. We're going to throw this off nicely. All right. And just let our chicken stay there until the sauce is ready. We're going to go ahead and prepare the sauce for the chicken so we can finish up our chicken. Okay, so we're going to use the liquid that we already throw from the rice. As you can see, it's settled with a little oil, the oil from the fat of from the skin of the chicken. You don't want to use all that oil, so we're going to take off all that excessive oil and get rid of it. Don't want to use all that oil. All right. And then the ingredients that we're going to use for the sauce, we're going to be using some good old ketchup, some sprigs of thyme, and of course some sugar. We have to use that sugar to bring up that taste nicely. And we're going to pour in a little browning to get that darker look. All right, so we're going to pop all that in, and of course we're going to throw a little water in there. All right, put our ketchup in. It's our browning on in there. Remember to go easy on the browning because you don't want it to be too dark. So we're gonna get our browning in there. You don't want it too dark and you don't want it too light. And just mix it all in, and you can also taste it to see if it's the desired taste that you're going for. So we're gonna taste that. So good. So this is the consistency of my sauce. You probably want to make it a little bit more thick. And what I'm going to do after I add this sauce to the chicken, the remaining sauce, I am going to put it in a little saucepan and bring it to a boil to put that to go with the meal after. Okay? So this is the thickness of my sauce. Nice. That's the consistency that you're going for. I'm going to be using my brush and brush this sauce nicely over this chicken. And you'll see the color that it has before we put that back into the oven for 15 minutes. Alright, so get as much as that sauce over the chicken as you possibly can. So that's what you want it to look like before it goes in the oven. Now we're going to pop this back into the oven without the foil paper for 15 minutes. Our chicken is done, and this is what it should look like. See that awesome brown jerk color? That is exactly what your chicken should look like.